The Red Scarf Project was part of the AIDS Awareness Week. The regional HIV/AIDS connection tied hand-knitted scarves around London last week to shed some light on the stigma surrounding the infection. Each scarf included an information card and were available for the public to take. Rob Newman is a man living with HIV. He says the stigma hasn't changed since he was diagnosed 23 years ago.
People are still afraid, in most cases, some cases rightfully so, to tell friends, family that they're HIV positive.
In 1991, Rob and his wife decided to go public as an HIV positive family. Their story was picked up in newspapers across the country.
So this is was a picture that appeared on the front page of the Globe and Mail. It would have been in...
His wife and 2 of his 3 children were diagnosed as well. Rob works for the Connection as a peer support worker, and he and his family have won many awards for their work with HIV.
This is the Ontario AIDS Network on a roll. I was a 103.
One of his best friends, Karen Burton, also works at the Connection, and she says Rob will address his HIV status before anyone else will.
But it doesn't define him. Rob is somebody that you look at. So when people say, oh, you look and you know somebody's HIV, Rob's proof positive that you haven't got a bloody clue who is HIV positive and who isn't.
With a collage made by a volunteer, Rob showed how the stigma began 30 years ago.
Initial diagnosis to be called GRID, gay-related immunodeficiency. And when AIDS started to show up more in the heterosexual community, they changed it from GRID to AIDS.
Rob lost his wife and one of his sons to HIV, but he continues to fight against the stigma for himself and for his youngest son.
HIV positive. He's grown up with the knowledge of his HIV status his whole life. All of his friends are aware of it. There was no secrets at all, but it still stops him in his tracks when it comes to meeting new people.
For Western News, I'm Carmen Wells.